First things first, thanks for joining me, no matter where you are and regardless of how you stumbled across this video. It means a lot to be able to share these experiences with you, whomever you may be out there. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Brandon Rossi. I'm a 23-year-old from the Pittsburgh, PA area. Graduated high school at West Allegheny. Later went on, graduated from Waynesburg University with a Bachelor's of Arts in Communications and an emphasis on sports broadcasting and sports information. Nowadays, I'm working at Frostburg State University just outside of Cumberland, Maryland. My dream in life, my goal, my end game, whatever you want to call it, is to be a sports broadcaster. I've had a love for it ever since I was 14 years old. Been doing broadcasting. I'm 23. I've been doing it for about 9 years. I get jacked up when it comes to announcing in front of all of these hundreds of people, in rare occasions, thousands of people. It just gets me hyped. It's an adrenaline rush that I can't really explain. It's just something that I love. You're probably wondering to yourself, why does this all matter? Well, there's a monkey wrench thrown in there, and that is that I have a form of autism. And of course, April being Autism Awareness Month, Autism Recognition Month, whatever you want to call it, I decided to share my experiences with the public about me and how I've been able to cope with it, some stories that I have, etc., etc. Hopefully this will help some parents that have children with autism, and if you're out there watching and have autism, hopefully then you can relate to me and be able to share some experiences. I'm really interested to hear what you guys out there have to say. Make sure to comment down below, leave a like if you want, and also subscribe for more information. So to start things off, people usually think about the negatives of autism. Whenever they hear the autism word, there's a lot of different negative connotations that come with it. Some of them include being mentally slow, they don't know things, they're not loving, they're not caring, and they can't talk. Well, clearly I can talk, so not all of that is true. There's a scale of how severe the case of autism is. Luckily, I'm on the milder side, which is you're very close to being normal, so I've been fortunate with that. And then there are some other cases where you're way on the other side of the spectrum, and you basically fall into many of these categories. So for those that don't know the exact definition of autism, if you Google it, you literally Google autism definition. It's a developmental disorder of variable severity that is characterized by difficulty in social interaction and communication, and by restricted or repetitive patterns of thought and behavior. If you're still left in the dark about what this means, basically to sum it up is we have issues with social interaction. It doesn't stop us from functioning like normal people. It doesn't stop us from having emotions. It doesn't stop us from having all of these different things that quote-unquote normal people have. It just delays us. And I'll never forget, the best way to explain it was when my mom explained to me what autism is. So I found out first off that I was autistic by going to a school called Wesley Wonder Kids. It was out of the district that I grew up in, and it was for children with autism learning to cope with other children that have autism. So one of the subjects that day was autism, and I didn't know what the heck it was. I was 9, 10, 11 years old, somewhere in that ballpark, in elementary school regardless. I remember asking one of the people that worked there if I had it. That's when the counselor broke to me that yes, you are on the spectrum, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Now, I remember not fully understanding it after the class. So when my mom picked me up, I remember asking her, first of all, do you know I have autism? And then that's when my mom explained to me how autism works. Her definition, or at least a way to simplify things, is Jimmy and Joe will take one direction to Walmart. They turn left at the bottom of the hill. I will always turn right to get to Walmart from the bottom of the hill. It doesn't matter which way we go because I will always go this way, whereas Jimmy and Joe, the normal people, go that way. You still end up at the same destination. And that really stuck with me throughout the rest of my life. Even to this day, whenever I explain what autism is and how it affects children, how it affects adults, that's kind of where that's what I use to explain it to them. Now, there's a wide variety of symptoms on the autism scale, and not everybody's going to have the exact same symptoms. They may have 5 of the however many. They may have 1. They may have all of them. The fact of the matter is, it affects everyone in different ways. These symptoms I'm about to share are just symptoms that have affected me personally. The first is behavioral disturbances. Now, this is one that I had trouble with a lot in late elementary school and all throughout middle school. It can range from just temper tantrums, which is associated with kids on the autism spectrum, to just being a distraction and having to be removed, not just for my sake, but for the other children's sake. We'll go into that later on as this series develops. Second is inappropriate social interaction. I can be unaware of my surroundings. I don't intend to, but it just happens. And I remember one time I was at my next door neighbor's house, and I remember saying an innuendo. It was completely inappropriate. And all of the parents were appalled, especially my parents, that would come out of my mouth. There's many different ways in which inappropriate social interaction can take form. It goes hand in hand with behavioral disturbances, I believe, because being inappropriate is kind of a disturbance to the public and to everybody else. Third one is intense focus on one topic. This one, I think, is a help for me, to be completely honest with you. This ranges from WWE wrestling or AEW, TNA, whatever. Right now, I'm going through a WWE phase in which all I do is focus on WWE. Why? Because it's WrestleMania season, and what else am I going to do? This can also range from sports. Football is the main one. I like to think that I know a lot about the NFL. There's also a point in time where I was obsessed with movies, obsessed with video games, things of that sort. So I would even go back and just compile lists of Rotten Tomatoes scores from every movie that has ever been released since I was born back in 1996. And sometimes they're even just strange ones, like ones that you wouldn't even think of. One that was real big with me was roller coasters. I could tell you any detail about any roller coaster out there, especially in the United States. Like, for example, the tallest roller coaster in the world is Kingda Ka, 456 feet tall, and it's the fastest roller coaster in the United States, going to 128 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. That is all just off the top of my head. Not engaging in play with peers is the fourth one. And this one, it's a crutch, I'm not going to lie. Even whenever I was younger, I would have some friends over, and even with the kids still over, they would be in the house kind of roaming around. Meanwhile, I would be nowhere to be found. I would be in my room playing video games. Not because I'm a bad host, but because I need my alone time. Nowadays, it's obviously much more than just engaging in play. This is more of the social interaction, such as being at a party, such as being, out and about. We'll get into that later as well. And the fifth one is preoccupation with a specific topic. Again, this goes hand in hand with the intense focus on one topic. I can get sidetracked really, really easily whenever I have something going on. Like even getting ready for this this month and this series that I have planned, I got distracted with all this other stuff that there is to do, and it just kind of got put off until now. So once again, thanks for joining me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed what I brought to you, and hopefully you'll stick around for the rest of the month and for the rest of this series. We'll dive into many different topics. We'll dive into all these different stories that relate to autism in some capacity. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it, and thanks again.